YouTube, Awesome Writer here. Welcome to my review for Avataro Sentai DonBrothers episode 17. Broken record of how I start these reviews, but I thought this was another really good episode. It felt like this really kind of neat mix of important episode for the plot and characters, but also kind of some fun filler stuff. And it primarily focuses on the Black Ranger, Pink Ranger as well as kind of secondary, kind of that plot. We honestly don't even see quote-unquote Core 3 red, yellow, blue until the very end of the episode just for the fight, and they enter in kind of a funny way where they're kind of holding Don Murasame up. And that is something I really like about DonBrothers that makes the structure feel unique, is they will not necessarily need to have every Ranger in every episode, and you will have an episode that focuses on one or a handful of Rangers. The gist of the episode is it was about the Black Ranger and his love, and it was filtered through this side character, because he's kind of reminiscing about, not reminiscing, that sounds like he's, a good thing. Like he's kind of reflecting, there we go, on the situation with his girlfriend about how he promised he kept a secret for a year and he'd get to see her again. And when he's doing that, he's seeing this guy about to jump off this roof, and Homelander is making him do it. He sees this guy about to jump or whatever, and then the villain lady shows up. I haven't learned her name yet. I probably won't, to be honest. But she shows up, and they have this conversation about love, because if you remember, he met her before, and she gets to see him transform this time, because he transforms to save this guy. And she's asking him about love, and he says, I don't want to say anything too embarrassing, but love is light, or something like that. And she goes, and that wasn't embarrassing? Basically, it sets up the premise of the episode, is that she bets him that the guy that just tried to jump will turn into a monster based off of love. And then the whole premise of the episode is him helping him, because it turns out he had this girlfriend that recently dumped him, and he's sad about it. And the reason that he got dumped is because in one of the last episodes, when the monster attacked, he ran away from her. Not from her, but like ran away when the monster attacked and didn't protect her. So they broke up because of that. And he's trying to help him get on even footing again. And they come up with this plan for him to dress up as a monster and attack them again, but him protect her. And he's dressed up like the quality of monster you'd get in Zenkaiger. But then he gets caught by Gold, who thinks he's actually a monster, who then attacks him. And it all kind of backfires. And then it's really funny, because he's like, I think you might just need to get over this girl. And he's like, well, I don't think I could. She's the only girl. Who's that? She's hot. And that actually happens a couple times. It's really funny. And the girl that catches his eye is actually Black's girlfriend / Pink's wife. And he follows her briefly, and that's when we run into Pink. And like up to this point, other than it being like character driven a little bit about the Black Ranger, it was kind of more fun fillery stuff. I thought the premise was funny. It had some really funny moments, but then we actually get some exposition about how exactly everything went down with Black and his girlfriend in the past when Inu Brother finally asks him. And they were like on this camping retreat or something. Gave me a real beginning of Friday the 13th vibe for some reason. And like he woke up in the middle of the night and everyone had those paper things in their mouth, origami, and he had one in his hand. And that's when whatever this was took her and said, like he took her through a portal and said, if you don't tell anybody about this, you'll see her again. Which we're going to assume is the Bestials. And that's where all that went down. We get the more specifics of it there. And that was really interesting, because I think this was a nice character moment for him, or a character story rather, as well as it was nice to get more details and hints at that story overall, wrapped in sort of this fun filler plot. And then after that, though, on top of all the other twists and like mistakes that have happened in this plot, we find out that another reason that his girlfriend doesn't want to get back with him is because she's in love with somebody else. Turns out it was the Black Ranger who stumbled upon her after her boyfriend abandoned her and saved her, and even though he's a fugitive, she's in love with him. But then, after all that, she's devastated when he transforms into a dog, and she's the one that transforms into the Monster of the Week, which is really funny, because even the girl villain comments like, oh, that was a twist. It was just really funny, because I thought that most of this like filler plot had a lot of funny twists and turns in it all throughout. Including that, because it was all about like, is this guy going to turn into the villain because of this love stuff? And it turned out to be the girlfriend that did it for reasons you couldn't anticipate when the episode started. Then, we get into the episode stuff. The other team shows up and Megazord fight, yada yada yada. Gold does show up at the end to sell some toys. We get to see then a ninja altar and the formation with his altar. And then we show off how he can also transform into Legend Rangers, and he transforms into the Green Ranger, and it looks good, because it's an HD, it's a good-looking suit. I still think that ability is kind of rather pointless. The only thing I like about that ability is I'm still curious about how all that Zenkaiger stuff ties into it, but otherwise it's frivolous Toku stuff for me. And that was honestly probably the only thing I didn't like about the episode. Other than that, I thought it was a really nice mix, like I said, of kind of a fun filler plot with lots of twists and turns, was entertaining, but also some nice character-driven stuff, and also some exposition that deepens one of the mysteries. But the only thing I didn't like there was at the tail end, where it was like, Toku toys. Felt so shoehorned in there, and it really just kind of takes you out of it. At the very end, though, we do get a teaser of our purple evil 7th Ranger awakening at the villain base. So that was also another thing. Again, the only thing I didn't like was the everything else was kind of nice little tie-ins. I did a video the other day about like the appearance of the new Purple Ranger and like what he looks like and stuff like that, and I mentioned my concerns about how he might debut. I'm a little bit worried about patterns appearing with yet another Purple Rogue Ranger after Stacy. And DonBrothers has been pretty good about it so far, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm definitely worried too about the fact that Gold and Purple are debuting so close to each other. At least in this case, Gold was able to clearly debut. We still have the dangling thread of his multiple personality story or whatever, but I think that's meant to be more ongoing. But at least he was able to more clearly debut before we do this. I just hope that the two don't get muddled with each other, because we just had that last year, where Stacy and Two Kaisers debuts were like stacked on each other, and it kind of made things awkward and kind of stumbling and muddling each other up, and I didn't like that, and I hope that doesn't happen here. I know that a lot of the stuff is often dictated, unfortunately, by the toy release schedule, but it still just always frustrates me because Toku, or Sentai and Toku, often have so many episodes, more episodes than I need, and then they always put all the debuts together in these little clusters. I'm like, you have so much room. So I just wish they would allow things to breathe a little bit. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because they've been pretty good at it so far, and we don't know exactly how the pacing of Purple and Gold story is going to roll out. I'm just a little bit nervous, because it's giving me deja vu for last year when Purple and Gold also debuted right next to each other. But setting all that aside, overall, I thought this was a really strong episode. I would give it a 4 out of 5. What do you guys think of this episode and all the developments? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.